Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Andy Carter here. Welcome down to Carter's Golf, and I am on the 18th hole of the Fire course, and it has just been announced that we will be hosting the second year of the Golf in Dubai Championship for the European Tour. So basically it's the second to last event of the European Tour calendar, with the following week being the DP World Tour Championship on our other golf course here on the Earth course. So amazing couple of weeks coming up in November, so stay tuned for lots of content with some of the European Tour players and obviously out on this golf course. But today I am talking swing path. Okay, swing path for chipping, something that probably doesn't really get mentioned very often, or if it does, it's not very well detailed, let's say. I think a lot of chipping videos, and mine included, will always be about the basic fundamentals, because that is a part of the technique of every golf shot that majority of amateurs get wrong. And it's a lot of things that I actually teach on a daily basis, making sure we get the correct setup fundamentals. But aside from that, I am going to talk very briefly about that, but also aside from that, we need to swing it correctly. So first of all, I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see a thing. Secondly, I'm going to very just quickly mention setup. So from a short little chip shot, I've got a 54 degree, I've got maybe no more than about 20 yards to 10 yards to carry the ball, 20 yards to the flag, and I've got a 54 degree. I'm going to get the stance very narrow, so I generally measure it with the outside of my waist to the outside of my foot. I often put the open up that left side so I can get encourage some rotation into my left side as well. And ball positions generally for a kind of a standard chip shot is going to be towards the middle of my stance. Now, just to go into a slight digression, grip. I often do change my grip. I make my left hand a little bit stronger, so I put my left hand a little bit more underneath the golf club. What this does, it helps me prevent it from breaking down as much. It helps me from cupping or manipulating the club face too much. So I put it into a slightly stronger position, almost a little bit more into my palm, so then I can just control the face better and use my bounce of the club better as well, so I'm not getting too wristy. So go and give that a try. So basically what I've just said there is, rather than maybe seeing two knuckles on the left hand, I open my hand up and I just put my thumb a little bit more down the center of the grip, so I almost can only see one, maybe no knuckles at all. Now once I've taken my setup, you see the wrist is a lot more solid. There's a little bit of up and down movement, which is fine because it's not manipulating the actual face angle, and I'm also then being able to use the bounce of the club. Now that sort of tip is actually key as well for swing path. So if you were to draw a straight line from my golf ball to the flag, that is kind of where I want to swing the golf club. It's not a big swing, so it's not really going to go much higher than my waist. So one of the common faults I see is the club coming too much on the inside, so too much around the body. Now, what you'll notice is how low that club face is relative to the ground. It's not very high up at all. And we often talk so much about hitting down on the golf ball. Now, think of the angles. We're gonna get mathematical. We're gonna start talking about geometrics. Is that the right one? Geometrics? Anyway, we're talking angles. So as the club comes a little bit more on the inside, I've not got a very high club face, so it's going to be difficult to actually hit down because there's not a massive angle to hit down on. And one of the common shots I see from that type of swing is very much there, the shank to the right or the thin to the right. And one of the main reasons is not just because of swing path, but also because of wrist movement. So you take your normal grip where the two knuckles are over the top. We get the club on the inside and then we flick it. See that so often, the flick. So where the club face moves in front of the hands, and you know what, when that comes off, it's spectacular. It'll pop straight up into the air, and with a swing that's only going to here, you'll leave it short of the green. So the next time, you've actually got to swing it even longer to hit the ball 20 yards. Now if it doesn't come off correctly, you've got to swing it longer. Now that thin and top has gone even further over the other side because you've created more power through a longer swing. So we need to simplify all of this. So we overcomplicate it. We all do it. We all overcomplicate it, and it doesn't need to be. We need a set routine to kind of go through for every shot. So what I do, I'm going to strengthen that left hand grip, get the left hand a little bit more under the club, and just working down the target line there. You see I get to waist height, look how much higher the club is compared to waist height down here, okay? So I'm working the shaft of the club parallel to the target line. So I'm even working my follow through up to the target line as well. So they're working it out here, keeping the hands more in front of the chest as the chest and the shoulders rotate. You'll see the toe of the club, which is here, pointing up to the sky. So I haven't closed the club face, if I close the club face, I'm more likely to dig the club into the ground. So I'm just going to try and make sure the toe of the club's up and rotate through. That was an absolute dig. So as I start to rotate again, the weaker grip, club face working straighter back, and then rotate through. So you're effectively just using the bounce of the club and you get a much better strike on the way through. I also don't even mind seeing golfers that are a little bit more flat on the takeaway. Try to exaggerate it, almost just trying, there's a bit of a drill. Try and feel like you're playing a bunker shot. A lot of players that play bunker shots try and swing it massively out to it. So if you can imagine now how often your golf swing is changing on the golf course, but purely just use this as a bit of a drill, just getting the club working outside. Because if I get the club working outside at waist height, look how high it is now. So there's much more chance of the club hitting down on the ball. Now with that, obviously the ball's going to go super high, okay, and it's unnecessarily high for this particular shot, although it's finished about 2 feet away, and I'll probably start chipping like that forever. Although the ball's gone quite close, that was amazing, I can't get over that. It's better than expected. Just taught myself something new as well. So try and feel, if you feel like you're in that position, video yourself from down the line, so put a camera in line with the ball and the target, and see where the shaft of your club goes in relation. If it goes too much behind your backside, too much behind your back pocket, you've gone too flat. So try and encourage yourself to swing the club a little bit more in front of your chest, a little bit more on the outside, and then you can use your rotation through the shot. And even for these types of shots, don't be scared to use the hips and the shoulders, making sure that the body weight is staying into that left side, the hips and the shoulders are effectively turning together, and then we've got some nice rhythm on the way back and through. Okay, making sure we don't need to get to here, no movement, and then try and panic with the hands and the arms. Trying to keep everything a little bit more kind of one-dimensional, everything staying together, rotate and rotate. Regardless of the type of chip shot you're trying to play, whether it's a chip and run, which I actually think the swing path is even more important. I think the swing path's even harder on those types of shots because it's such a short little swing. But regardless of the type of chip or pitch shot you're trying to play, always try and work that first kind of few inches either side of the golf ball as straight as you possibly can. Then the body's rotation will obviously take over from there. I think the grip is a key one, because once that right hand just gets, the left hand gets a bit too far over, we start to get too much of this. Whereas when you get that left hand a lot more under, you won't get as much of it, and it'll just stay out there and more in front of the, I say that in front of the body because it's looking more at my chest. Okay, so I'm just staying there, but it's more in front of my body. Behind my body's there when it goes in behind my backside. So just trying to, wow, by the way, I am sweating. This is my last tip of the day and I'm back inside. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a humid morning today, I'll be honest. It's been okay recently, it's just very, very inconsistent at the moment. This is the time of year for us where the humidity is just starting to die out and we're coming back to good weather. But sometimes, on days like today, it's horrendous. Anyway, where was I? So, left hand more under, club works in front, hips and shoulders are going to work through the swing together. Lovely little strike and hold the finish. Then from there you can work on trajectory. Once you've got a consistency in your striking, you're using the bounce, work on trajectory, trying to keep the hands a little bit more in front of the club, the ball at impact, but not much. So then the club face keeps a stronger, go in, oof. So the club face is still using the bounce, but it's a little bit lower loft, which means you won't have to hit the ball as hard. But this video is all about swing path. I can't stress enough the importance of being in control of the club face when it gets to waist height. If it's behind you, honestly, it'll be so inconsistent with how you can strike the ball, how you can direct it, but also as well your distance control, because you're going to have to do so much manipulation from this point to hit a good shot. And you will hit good shots, 100%, you will definitely hit good shots. You won't hit them as often as you like, and that's the key. So trying to give a good sound position on that takeaway, using the lower body, using the swing path, using the bounce of the club, stabilizing the club face, you will have much more consistency in your type of flight, much more consistency in your distance, and also much more importantly, more consistent in your strike. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm going in for a shower because I am hot. If you've enjoyed this video, please do strike that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Once again, thank you very much for checking out today's content. I'll see you again.